What's up, guys? Vince here with another video. It's been a long time since I made a video, actually, but I want to get back into it. I'm going to start making these videos of me traveling and stuff like that. I've been doing a lot of traveling. Recently been to Alaska and just got back yesterday from Yellowstone National Park in Montana. Actually, it's in Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you guys will. So I did this trip alone. It was a 3-day hiking / camping trip in Yellowstone. I did it, last minute, and just wanted to share some of my tips and tricks on how I did it so cheap. And the first thing you gotta overcome is when you're doing a trip like this is just overcoming that fear of, man, if I, going alone and something can go. What if something goes wrong? What if I don't make it? You gotta overcome that fear. I began my journey in Tampa, Florida. Well, actually Cape Coral, Florida. Drove over to Tampa, Florida, about a 2.5-hour drive. From Tampa, I flew into Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. But then, I missed my connecting flight because I was flying standby. So I took the train over to the Dallas airport. It's about 20 minutes from the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, and then from there I flew into Minneapolis, and from Minneapolis I flew to Montana, Bozeman, Montana. So it was a long journey. It didn't go quite as planned. My original plan was just fly from Tampa to Denver, from Denver to Bozeman, but flights were full and I was flying standby. For people that can't fly standby, they don't have that benefit, just look in advance. Last year my wife and I flew to Europe. Both of us on a cruise. Actually, I think it was $420. We did it 6 months in advance. And the people, when I went, just to look, and the tickets were like in the $1,000. So if you just book stuff in advance or do your research, look on Hopper, Priceline, Kayak, compare prices. I've also heard that flying in the week and going to the counter will get you a better price. But, who knows if that's true. So what I brought with me on this trip, I brought a like a sleeping bag. So I only brought a personal item and a carry-on item. On my personal item and my carry-on, I brought the clothes, for warm weather clothes, military style. Packed it up, rolled it up really nice and tight to fit it in there. I brought a sleeping bag, a metal canteen, a whistle, a camel pack, which is pretty much a water source that you put on your back. Let's see, I brought a flashlight, a headlamp. That's pretty much it. That's for the most part, that's it. If I missed anything, I'll make a list of it and post it in the description. But then once I got to Bozeman, because you can't fly with a tent, by the way, you can't fly with bear spray, you can't fly with a knife unless you check it in your check bag. But when you're flying standby, you can't, check it back because it may not make it to your destination, because you may not make it to your destination. But if you got a check bag, then you can bring all that stuff with you. So once I got to Bozeman, Montana, I went over to Walmart and picked up the bear spray. I picked up a pocket knife. I picked up a heating source to heat up my canned food, which I purchased there at that Walmart. Let's say, I think I said I picked up my tent. My tent was like $26, so I just picked up a small 2 to 3 man tent. Water, food, granola bars. That's pretty much it. And so then I headed over to Yellowstone West Yellowstone. There's where the KOA campground is, and that's where I stayed. I stayed there the 3 nights. It was $27 a night. At that campground, they got Wi-Fi. They have warm showers. There's a general store in there. It's a nice campground right on the creek. It's beautiful. I heard the creek every night. People are pretty respectful. It was pretty quiet. Talked to the grounds guy there. The overnight grounds guy was a veteran like myself. He was in the Air Force, and he just retired and started living out in Montana. But cool things he told me was, that there you'll see black bears coming through the campground, and you'll see he's actually seen a mountain lion up on the mountain on the ridge. So it's a really cool campground. It's only 6 to 7 miles from the west entrance. So you're not too far from the park, and then you have a couple of things there, amenities for comfort. Let's see. Back to the rental car. I didn't even say about the rental car. So I did some research, and budget was the cheapest one there. My vehicle for the 3 days came out to $149 plus tax. The vehicles it's expensive. Getting to Yellowstone is expensive. The reason why I stayed in a tent was, well, I wanted to go camping and try to do as primitive. But hotels are $180 to $250 in that area. So that's why I did the camping. You can camp inside the park. You just go to the Yellowstone National Park website, and a lot of the parks, campgrounds are closed for the season, but there are some that are open, and they are first come, first served basis. There are some that are reserved, but when you try to reserve it, I mean, they're like months in advance. So the Yellowstone, the KOA Mountainside was a nice location, not too far, and then it had the amenities. You're not going to find Wi-Fi in the park, and you're not going to find showers in the park, but you will find that primitive, you're really there doing it feeling. That's the kind of what I wanted, but with the last minute flying, getting in at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, there's just no way else to make it a campground. So it was a little safety net. See what else? So some of my favorite moments in the park. Just driving through the park. I did the Grand Loop. It'll take a couple hours to do, but you'll see everything. You'll see Old Faithful. You'll see Mammoth Springs. You'll see the Yellowstone Lake. You can drive through the Lamar Valley, which has the highest amount of bison population. So those are some of the highlights. Pragmatic, I think it's called Pragmatic Spring. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you guys will. But that's there, and it's a beautiful, colorful lake, spring. Sorry. Let's see what else. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll put some more in the description if I missed any of my highlights, but I'm sure I did. Oh, Steamboat Geyser. That's pretty cool too. So let's see. On the trails, there's a lot of trails. Safety. You got to think safety when you're out there. I was a little bit nervous doing the trails by myself, knowing that people have been killed out there by bears, by bison. But I had my bear spray, I had a whistle on me. I never went too far in. Most of the trails that I did were 2 to 3 miles at most. And you'll know if somebody's on that trail because there'll be a car parked. So that's the kind of things I was looking for. When you're on the trail, I talk to myself a lot, just so I wouldn't sneak up on a bear. Not because I'm crazy. Well, maybe I'm a little crazy, but just so I wouldn't sneak up on a bear. You want to talk, you want to make noises, just let them know you're there. You're looking around, keep your head up, don't walk with your head down. You see a lot of people doing that, well, you won't see if something's coming. Just kind of look around, make sure that you're aware of everything around you. Check the ground every now and then for bear prints, for scat, fresh prints, fresh scat. That means there's a bear in the area, and most likely you want to turn around and you don't even want to encounter a bear. They're deadly. They're predators. They're apex predators, and if it's a mother with some cubs, she might charge you, and you might lose your life. So don't play with that. But if everything's good to go, just like I said, just go in there with your whistle, with your bear spray, with your awareness. Try to see if you saw people going into that trail. I know you normally want to go to 2 to 3 people, but that's just the way I did it. I'm not a professional or nothing like that, but that's just my recommendations and how I saw it. I know some people say don't do it, it's dangerous, and it is dangerous. But like I said, if you're doing it, you're careful, you got your spray, you've got your equipment, and it's not a far trail, and there's people nearby. I took the chance, and I got some amazing footage and saw some beautiful things. So that's my trail safety there for a solo hiker. And I'm sure some people are worried about the COVID situation. At the park, most of the buildings, as far as like museums, visitor centers, are closed. However, there are some gift shops that are open. So when you're inside the gift shops, you have to wear your mask, and I think it's the law in Montana. So when you're out in town, like for example, I stayed over at the West KOA, and there's a small town there, West Yellowstone. Beautiful town, tons of restaurants. You got to wear your mask when you're inside any of the buildings. And then when you can't social distance, you're supposed to wear your mask. You'll see a lot of people not wearing them. You'll see a lot of people wearing them. So that pretty much sums up my trip there. You know, don't overthink it. Just go, get out there, get it done. You know, do your research, but you know, just don't overthink these things. And stay safe, stay alert. Make sure you bring water. If you don't bring enough supplies, there's a Walmart in Bozeman and there's a Walmart in Cody. So whether you land on the west side of the park or you land on the east side of the park, there's going to be a Walmart, and there's also general stores. There's a general store inside Yellowstone. So don't overthink it. If you forgot something, you'll most likely be able to pick it up at your local Walmart at one of these general stores. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got. I'm going to post some amazing videos I got of the waterfalls, of my canyon hike, of the grizzly bear I saw. I saw a grizzly bear eating a bison that was killed the night before, or a few days before. I forget what the ranger said, by a pack of wolves, and he just kind of took it over. That's pretty much it.